Is it only fair that I'm the right one with an eye for the back of your hand?
Now time to talk about the vocals throughout the song. The vocals are split into three parts up front, so you know. There's my actual voice, like here, that you hear and hate, singing. Then there is the obvious talk box that comes in later, up here. It comes in the choruses and the second verse. And then there is a vocoder as well, just different from a talk box. I'll let you Google that, but you'll probably glean the difference from what I explain here. There's a vocoder as well. The vocoder is used mainly as support to emphasize parts of the other vocals, as it's always layered with them together. It's never kind of going on by itself. So I guess instead of using like harmonies for what I was singing, I just kind of did that with the vocoder instead. That's a good way to think about it. So the vocals that are just my voice, call them vox. And then the vocoder ones, vocoded, and talkbox over here. It's very obvious. As for my voice, the approach that I took is kind of what I always do, where I have a lot of takes. Let's see. Oh, did I delete all of the takes? Oh, wow, I must have cleaned up this file. All right, cool. Well, you can't see all of those takes that I took, but there were many. And I settled on these ones, and I was happy with them. Mainly, I guess, this tan take and this olive green take. Oh, there's this slimy one here, too, like always. I'm not going to act like I'm a great singer all the time, which is why you see that some of these I had to splice different takes together, like right here, just a very obvious example.
Disappear for a night and a half.
Those are 2 different takes, but I was able to, actually no, 3 different takes, because this is, 16 Vox 1, 14 Vox 2. These are all 3 different takes that I just spliced together to get the correct, maybe just pronunciation is what was the issue. I can't really tell now that I've deleted everything. The way that I process my vocals here was similar to what I've said I do in the past. I definitely applied that RX to it to get rid of a lot of my mouth clicking, hard plosives, a big de-essing that was required. As you can hear right now, I'm just having a very heavy S day. But after that, some of the vocals get doubled here, and they don't have individual effects on them, as you can see. This is just if you're wondering what this is a utility. It just allows you to automate gain here and there. And this thing is really funny. This is only here because this is such an old song from 2017. Back in 2017, Ableton didn't have true stereo panning. That might mean nothing to some of you, but it's a feature that a proper mixing desk does have, and some other DAWs like Pro Tools had and still has. But it's what a lot of people criticized Ableton for not having. They were like, what the heck? Why don't you have proper stereo panning? It resulted in you losing some signals if you had a really wide stereo field in an audio track and then you wanted to move it around through the song. Instead of moving it together, it would just make you lose the parts that were in one of the sides that you were reducing. So you're like, no, I want to hear the whole thing moving. Weird. This little device, someone else made it. Mark Sprecher from Dietikon, Switzerland. Oh shit, man. Thank you, Mark. He made this for free for everybody to use. And when you put it on there, it would actually finagle everything together so that as you panned things, it would truly pan everything to the right or to the left. So I had it default at that time to appear on every track. Any track that I created as I was adding them would always have this on it. Anyway, that was a big tangent. These don't have any effects on them by themselves because they probably already had the CPU intensive technical repair tools to reduce some of my weird mouth sounds. What they have now is the actual flavor to them. So right out the gate, because I have some parts throughout the song where 2 vocals are playing together, I wanted to make sure that there was a little bit of compression on them to just, glue them together. Haha, it's called the glue compressor. It's not set with a big ratio. Oh yeah, ratio of 2. It's not that dramatic. It's just so that in case one got way louder than the other, it's just a little bit of a squeeze. Then we go into exactly what I've shown in the past, but what I use every damn time, which is isotope nectar. And whoa, that's how old this song is? Oh my god. So this is Nectar 2. I haven't seen this plugin, I guess, in 4 years. I guess I forgot when Nectar 3 came out. Anyway, I'm on Nectar 3 now. That's for damn sure. But this is Nectar 2. And it's very similar to the other one. I can walk you through it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have a little bit of doubling here. It's engaged. So I have, yeah, it's not a harmony actually of a different note. They are unison, so it's kind of doubling myself, but it's a little bit changed in terms of its pitch and the timing on it, so it's a little bit off. So it's like it did 3 takes, but they're like just a little off, but still really close together. I could have done a lot more takes, but I think I wanted to use this at the time. I was like, cool, just use this, and I was really happy with how it turned out, and it's great. Saturation, it has a high amount of it, but it's low in the mix. So there, let's see. I have these still solid for you guys, right?
Is it only fair that I'm the right one?
Okay, here if I take this off.
Is it only fair that I'm the right one?
Just brings a little bit more attention to it. This one actually, we should listen to it without this.
Is it only fair that I'm the right one?
And it makes it feel like there's a little more presence there because there's 2 additional voices, even if they aren't as loud as my voice. It's just a little bit of support. A de-esser, gone over this. I use de-essers heavily because of just the way I say S's. This actually even seems light for what I use nowadays. I feel like nowadays I lower it by much more than 8.7 decibels. I feel like nowadays I lower it by like 10 or 11 for a lot of takes I do. Maybe something's happening to my teeth and my tongue. The EQ, oh wow, I don't have a lot of low-end information in this at all. Oh my god, let's look at this.
Is it only fair that I'm the right one?
Okay, let's see what it would have sounded like without it.
Is it only fair that I'm the right one?
Now I know you're thinking, what? That sounded like more full and like it had more body in it. Why wouldn't you have gone with that? True, by itself, it probably does sound like that. I mean, not probably, it does sound like that by itself. But this is like the guitarist alone in their room syndrome again, that I think I've brought up before, and I've brought it to people in person if I've spoken with you, that when you have an instrument by itself, you kind of want every frequency to be present in it and for it to be this beautiful one-man show. But in the context of a whole damn song, like, come on, you need to give some space for some other instruments. So I think once I was playing the bass and the drums, and even the keys, I probably just lowered this slowly but surely and saw if it was even noticeable that was missing. To the ears, if it was even noticeable. It's definitely noticeable to the computer and to the final master output, because it's like, oh, thank God, you're giving me some room to breathe. And then I can make up for it later in mastering and make it loud. But conversation for another time. This, though, was because I probably couldn't notice any difference once I took out these low parts. So let's see, it starts at 115 hertz, and I'm cutting hard, and it just comes up here. Okay, that's cool. No, that is totally fine. Cannot believe I was able to pull that much down on it. Probably make up for it later with compressors and limiters. So here we go. It's receiving a bit of compression, a ratio of 6:1, which is heavy, I think for vocals. I think vocals a lot of times I've used like 4:1 for them to like leave a lot of dynamic parts for it, but I didn't need it for this. I wanted it to sound kind of consistent throughout. I don't really like yell in any part of this song, so I needed the volume to be the same throughout. No drama. And then a limiter, which is, like I mentioned before in another video, a compressor with a ratio of infinity, so it's just brutal in how it's squashing everything. Let's see how much it's squashing it. We can see it visually here.
Is it only fair that I'm the right one?
Like practically nothing. It's like not squashing it at all. Let me see here.
Ran each other out.
What?
And maybe this is the cost of waiting.
Well, if it's not squashing it and I brought the threshold down, then it's functionally basically just working as a gain boost. So I was right. Pulling all this down, I did make up for it by boosting gain here in the limiter at the end. I'm not using delay, reverb effects. Oh, I am using pitch. Let's see, the speed is 50 milliseconds, so I'm correcting my pitch a little bit from when I was singing crappy. Let's see by how much.
Is it only fair that I'm the right one?
It's not showing me anything visually. Let's hear it without it.
Is it only fair that I'm the right one?
Now it's here again. I think it helped like a bum note.
Is it only fair that I'm the right one?
Probably. I think this might have been on by default in Nectar too, and maybe I just didn't think about it. And this probably ate up a lot of CPU. Damn, dude. Anyway, enough with Nectar. I'm always happy with it. Echo Boy is the one that I mentioned in another video when I was talking about finally getting a proper delay tool. This is the one. I mean, a lot of people love it. Some people have moved past it and they're like, I'm kind of over Echo Boy now. I think I'll love it forever. It has so many delay options, and delay is like one of my favorite effects of all time. Even before I was doing like digital music production, back when I was just playing guitar, delay is like the coolest thing ever to me. When I meet someone who doesn't like delay, I'm always just like, oh man, we are fundamentally different people, and I just have to accept that. Anyway, this one is not dramatic. I've used some dramatic shit in the past and like gone in here and like edited all the details to make it like really like all distorted. Love it. This one was simple. It was probably just this preset of Warm Slap Room. And then this reverb on my vocals, which is also the bus reverb for this whole song for other things we sent to. I love this reverb. I love it. It is a very classic reverb. This is modeled after a Lexicon reverb that is a module that looks like this. It's an actual plastic one, and you might see it if you look up videos of like old big studios circa the 80s, maybe the 90s, and even into today. Amidst all the faders and everything, you'll see this like plastic module just kind of like sitting on top of the entire mixing board, and like with like a cable going like behind the desk or something like that, as if it was kind of added on later. And I think it is. It's like an add-on. But some people think it's really cheesy and that it's a little too dramatic. Me, as like a major lover of reverb, I think it's just right. So I've used it on lots of things. I'm very happy with it. And then the last one is this little saturation excitation plugin. I've been having trouble viewing it recently. Like if I want to look at the interface as opposed to change the knobs from here, it's been crashing Ableton, so I'm not going to open it right now. But it is the Aphex Vintage Exciter Stereo. I've talked about this in the past as well. I think when I was mastering a dance track, I love this thing. I use it on lots of my vocals. I even use it on voiceover work, so not just singing stuff. It has many different settings. It's not like the same setting I'm using across everything, but I think it really, really helps personally my voice not get lost in like the softness of the music. It helps me stand out just a little bit, even if I want to hide. I know that people want to hear vocals and music, so here you go. And then the last thing was just a little bit of gain adjustment on this to bring it down. So that's the whole of the main vocals, okay? Moving into the vocoder. A vocoder, if you don't know, needs source information coming into it, and it just uses your vocals as the way to shape those sounds. So it's like, imagine if every time I opened my mouth, a violin was playing, but it was playing the notes I was singing. So instead of that, it would go, probably like an idiot. But that's what a vocoder does, and it's not just with one note, it can do it with a whole bunch of chords. So I figured out what were some chords that I would like to go underneath my vocals in the pre-chorus, which is where it happens, and in the chorus. And then I played them with this brass bass. And what you do is you make the bass, how do I say this? You have the bass take the vocoded source as its modulator, and then it's only playing whenever it's triggered by the voices here. Yeah, and this is already vocoded. I think I probably bounced it out already. That's probably why I can't see where the vocoder is. It's nowhere to be found here. But let's listen to the part of the song, and then I'll solo the different instruments to show you. Okay, it's this part again. This was what the instrument was that plays it. Sorry, that was really loud. Those are the notes, but as you see, they're not ever being heard because this is muted. It's been fed into a vocoder using these vocals as the trigger. So, right, it's just taking that note information. I had other clips here. As you can see, they're deactivated. I can reactivate them. But I decided that would be kind of too heavy-handed and overdoing it. So instead, I only wanted to come in at the ending parts of the vocal phrases in the pre-chorus, and then in the chorus as well for the actual words. Cost of waiting. Cost of waiting. Cost of waiting. And these are all just different notes that you see inside of the vocoder section here. These are like all the chords I was actually playing. Here we go. That is pretty straightforward. What I will let you know now is that I actually didn't just layer my vocals with the vocoder. So here, let's get these together. Heck? Oh, wrong one.
We're in the middle of wearing each other, wearing us out. We're in the middle of wearing each other out.
I didn't just layer my normal vocals with the vocoder. I also layered the talk box with the vocoder later on in the song as well. So that vocoder was just playing like supporting role the entire time, like Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman. Those are the only people I can think of who've won Best Supporting Actor Oscars. Morgan Freeman's was $1 Million Baby. Tim Robbins was Mystic River. See? Talkbox works in a very similar way, but it doesn't get to happen all on the computer. Talkbox requires a little bit more work on my end because I have to put the freaking hose in my mouth, and then I have to put it into the side and sing into a microphone. Oh, this looks bad. But sing into a microphone while I have the hose in my mouth. And that gives us the actual effect of a talkbox. So it's a lot more work. So I own a talkbox. It's in my closet. And here's what it sounds like by itself, just so you know what we're talking about. And maybe this is the cost of waiting. Right? Right? It required a lot of takes. Let's see if I have a lot of takes here. I don't know if my video of myself is once again blocking this for you guys, but I can push this a little bit out for you. There you go. So here under Talkbox, no, I probably deleted all the extra takes. But there's a lot of takes that I did. Oh man, these are super long. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I probably like sang the whole song or every part that I needed, and then I would just go in and clip the parts that were good, not crappy, because it's not just about like playing it correctly. I actually didn't even have to play it. I'll show you in a second how. It's about performing your mouth movements. I don't want to say singing. It's mouth movements is really what it is to shape the audio coming through the hose in the talkbox, like a tube. And this is where all of the synth information for it came. I identified what were the actual notes I was singing after like I wrote the vocals, and then I had to come in here and I had to write it down on this instrument. So this is an analog subtractive synth, and it sounds like this. Wait, you can't hear it for some reason. Where is this bus going to? Man, I haven't opened this in so long that I can't even find this for you, folks. Really sorry. Where is this? Where is this going? Talkbox? There. External. Oh, that's right. This actually is a great way to explain it to you. Let me open this up so that my video isn't blocking this for you. Oh my god, it's a ton of space. Okay. So this is going externally out. So a lot of these you see they're all going to the master channel. It's really small, but it says audio to master, audio to master. This one descends only. Talk about it later. This is going externally. I had to send the audio that was coming from this synthesizer, which is a digital synthesizer anyway. It's not like a real one that I used. It's just this analog right here. And I had to send it out of the back of my interface into the talk box itself, which then amplifies it, and you put the hose on top of it, and then you put the end of that hose in your mouth, then you put a microphone in front of your mouth, and then it just plays automatically. I don't have to do anything with my hands because I programmed it from here. And then I just have to hit record for the microphone's track, and then record everything that's coming out of my mouth like this. And you don't look cool doing it. The guys who think they look cool doing it, they might look cool doing it. I don't look cool doing it. I certainly do not look cool doing talkbox. Or recording talkbox, I should say. So now that I know where that actual source is, I can just play for you I can play for you the actual synth. Here it is now. Simple, right? Doesn't sound like, that's not like a badass synth sound. Well, I've found, and I think a lot of people who use talkbox would agree, that using very simple synth sounds is what is best for talkbox, because you get to articulate the words around the notes much more easily than if you had some weird like thing going on and you were like, I don't know when to start and stop the pronunciation of the word. Anyway, that goes and is recorded into the microphone, into the talkbox track. And that's how we get things like this entire section of talkbox.
And maybe this is the cost of waiting. Is he only there?
And I think I'm going to hear correct. I'm actually using dyads here, so multiple notes instead of just a single note here.
We're in the middle of wearing each other, wearing us out.
No, it's that I probably recorded one line for each, which is why I have these. Let's see, there's probably a harmony.
We're in the middle of wearing each other, wearing us out.
And together they make.
We're in the middle of wearing each other, wearing us out.
It's like being a singer with like 2 extra steps involved. So you gotta really want to use the talkbox, in my opinion, to go through the trouble because, dang, dude. Anyway, the talkbox tracks themselves don't have any effects on them because it sounds pretty badass coming out of there. But of course, I do some effects to make it sound more like an actual vocal take. This is, I think, very similar to what I did for my normal vocals, just in a different order. So I'm getting rid of a lot of the low end here, and you see this massive cut here. Let me make this even bigger. I don't know why I haven't done that already for you guys. This massive cut here at, let's see, where is 5? At 10K, and also at 6K, which was before, sorry, the 6th note at 8.57K. These type of massive cuts, whenever I see them in the EQ, after like revisiting a file, it's probably because of some buzzing or clicking mechanical noise, or that's probably where my S's are, and they were like insane on the take. And it was like, what the heck? Like even the de-esser in Nectar can't handle this. So I like, first out the gate, I like cut a lot right there, and then I probably use the de-esser again. Anyway, it also went through the Aphex Vintage Exciter. I'm not going to open it because I don't want this thing to crash. And then Nectar. Let's see, it's probably that old version of Nectar again still. Woo boy! Okay, yeah, it is the old version of Nectar again. Oh, I turned pitch off on this one, so maybe I really was trying to use the pitch correction on that one. Anyway, there's a gate to reduce like background noise when I'm not like actively singing. A little bit of unison, or wait, yeah, just unison. These are the harmonies I didn't end up using. Just unison to give it a little more oomph. Saturation, I'd like the same level as my vocal. A de-esser, even harder than my vocal. Yeah, that's probably what that EQ was for then. EQ, I think is the exact same EQ curve as my main vocals. Compressor, same. limiter, same. Yeah, because and I'm not like saying like, oh, you need to make like bespoke settings for every single track that you do. No, I mean they're my vocals. One is just me using my pharynx, and the other one was me using a talk box. But it's still me, and it's still in the same song, and I still want it to be cohesive. So using the same effects probably just really made sense at the time. It's just utility again, not important. Oh, hey, our friend has made another appearance. The sonic maximizer. I guess it helped a little bit here as well. And then last but not least, another EQ. Holy moly, it's the exact same EQ as the other one, I think. Yeah, with this massive cut right here as well. It must have been a really bad mechanical like thing coming from the talk box then, in addition to my S's, because I can't imagine my S's being in that high frequency of a range. My S's are like 2.5K to 3K, so that's like around here. So this must have been something in the talk box, but whatever, we can fix it in post, and I did. Then it's going to reverb, delay, and a little bit of decapitator to make it stand out with the tinsel. And that is the vocals. There's times where they go together and they have like layers with one another, like here. Like this. The vocoder just really helps it out. And then let me see, times where the talk box might, let me see, a place where the talk box is like a real big star. I think it has its own like chorus here. Yeah. Cost of waiting, and maybe this is the cost of waiting, and maybe this is the cost of waiting. Yeah, so I like took out parts of what would have been the harmony with it, because again, like less is more sometimes. It's a hard mantra to live by. But I think it's always helpful for a person like me, who is typically inclined to just throw a lot of things into music. I think my best stuff is, personally, my best work has come from exercising a lot of restraint. I think that concludes what I did for the vocals, because they were just sent to a bus later that just has neutrino on them. And we've talked about this. This is that spectral shaper again. I don't know how much of a difference it made. It was free time, and Isotope recommended using it, and I was already using them for Nectar, and I knew I was already going to use them for mastering later on, so why not? But those are the vocals of the song. Pretty dynamic vocals, if I may say so myself. I have not used the talk box on another song that I plan to release, so I hope you all enjoyed hearing it, actually, because it's such a cool piece of tech.